I'm Shawn Farquhar, and welcome to Chateau Farquhar and this instructional digital download for the Ultimate Invisible Deck. Congratulations on your investment in your magic of the UID. You hold in your hands the genius of Jerry Andrus and Danny Korem, the Omni Deck. I'm fortunate enough to have the rights to manufacture, produce, and sell the Omni Deck. I made friends with a great gentleman by the name of Palmer Tilden, who had the rights given to him by Jerry Andrus. And when Palmer passed away, I took on Palmer Magic, the entire company, solely to get control of this, because I truly believe that this is the effect that my mentor Jerry Andrus hoped that the world would continue to perform. It's a modern day miracle. I've performed it tens of thousands of times, and you'll find after 3 or 4 performances, you'll never let go of it either. This is a finely crafted piece of Lexan, a bulletproof glass, the same type you'd find in the White House or the Pope Mobile or in heavy armored limousines. Each and every one of these are handcrafted here at Palmer Magic by my friends, machined and milled and laser cut to exact specifications to make it easy for you to perform. They're not exactly the size of a deck of cards. They're slightly smaller, and for the right reason. It allows you to perform amazing things and with ease, things like double lifts and tilts, all done with ease and grace because of the manufacturing of the way the Omni Deck is made. Today, on this video, I'm going to teach you the complete handling the way I perform the UID Ultimate Invisible Deck, and then you can research and find out more. Danny Korem's book, Korem Without Limits, has Jerry Andrus's original handling, which was created by Danny Korem, of course. All of that is yours for the taking here in this digital download. I'm excited to present it to you. I'll do it step by step. And in conclusion, to make it even more powerful, you're going to be given access to the digital download of the deck switch, which will make this even more powerful. Hi everybody, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to present this just as if Hannah were a layperson, although she's probably seen this effect 2,000 or 3,000 times in her lifetime, yeah? And then I'll go through it step by step so you get an idea of what happened and when it happened, and we can dissect it. Hannah, would you do me a favor? I have a deck of cards. Just touch your finger on the back of any card you'd like to. Okay. Good choice. You might as well take it right out of the deck. Oh, not just touch it. Perfect. Why don't you show it to the audience, let everybody see the card. It's okay if I see it. I've seen this trick before. What card did you get?
2 diamonds.
No way. Really?
Yeah.
What a surprise. Write your name on the face of the card. What's happening now is Hannah's writing her name so that you know it's only that card, that there isn't some other 2 of diamonds, or maybe there's 3. There can be duplicates. But by having only 1, that's only 1 card in the entire world that looks like that. Let's recap. Very nice. Hannah, let everybody see the card with your signature on it. Very nice. I'll take it back and place it back into the deck. This is where it gets fun. If I were to take and snap my fingers, you know I can make the card return to the top. It does instantly. Look at that. Hannah's card jumps right to the top. Wow, it's like 3D. Hannah, if I put the card here, safely underneath my chest pocket right there, hold out your hand just like that. Place your other hand on top, trapping the card in between. Your cards are trapped in between. I'll take this 1 card, the 2 of diamonds, and place it here on top. Here comes the fun part. I'm going to take your 2 of diamonds and sneak it back into the deck. And when I do that, I'm going to sneak out a different card, an indifferent one, like the Queen of Hearts, and place it on the top. I'll do that like this. Did you feel it? Did you? Really? Because look, this is the Queen of Hearts. Okay, here comes the fun part. I'm going to reach in between your hands and remove 1 of the 51 cards that remain. Let me see if I can get that. 1 card? Yeah, I got it. Look, it's your card. Hannah's card, 1 card from the 51. Now comes the most important part. I'm going to reach in between your hands while you're holding them and make the rest of the deck disappear. Are you ready?
Okay.
Here we go. They're gone. Now they're back again. I'm just kidding. They really are gone. Do you believe me?
No.
No? Lift this hand and take a look. Check it out. It's a block of glass.
Yeah.
This is Danny Korem and Jerry Andrus's Omni Deck. An excellent use for the deck switch. I'll talk about it further, but for now, let's start with how the deck switch took place. At the beginning of the routine, I said hi to Hannah, and I shook her hand, and I put my hand on the shoulder. It's not to be friendly, although I like to be. When I place my hand on the shoulder, it's for a very specific reason. I'm a stage magician first. I turned to close-up magic later in life, and my father was a stage magician, and he taught me the importance of blocking. What I'm doing is blocking. I'm laying out exactly where people are standing. By shaking the hand, I'm measuring the distance between Hannah and I with a slight bend in my arm. You see, I'm building a stage. This is one side of the stage, the proscenium, and Hannah's the other side. And in between, there's a curtain. And this is my curtain. By opening my coat, you'll see it touches right against Hannah, because that's the perfect distance. When I open up my coat, it's to hide the things that are going to happen behind the coat. The coat's important to this deck switch. I think it's important that you wear a coat. When I wear the coat, I have in the inside pocket a Sharpie. It can be one of those Bic Mark-A-Lot, anything that's got a hook on it. You want the little hook, so it hooks on the inside of your coat, like so. On the outside of the coat is the pocket. The opening is flat. It's not an angled opening, it's a straight opening, straight across. Why is it straight across? Because it's best for this. Do not use an angled pocket. Don't use an angled pocket. Do you know why? It's bad fashion. No, I'm just kidding. You don't want it. It'll expose the effect. I begin by asking you to select a card. So you touch a card on the back, and I use a Classic Force to select the card. I love the Classic Force. I think it's the best way to do this. I mastered the Classic Force, and in fact have an instructional digital download teaching you how to do it that you can also get on this website. I recommend it highly. I taught a friend who was an auto mechanic how to do it, and now he's totally enamored into the world of magic. And if you learn the Classic Force, you'll love it and use it all the time too. Now that you've selected the card, I'm going to ask her to sign the card. To do that, I'm going to reach and grab my marker. I'm going to hold the cards between my thumb and my index finger and grab like this. That means my index finger is opening up the lapel of my coat, which allows the audience to see just the tip of my finger. That's all you'll see. But in a moment, when I grab the Sharpie and pull it out, you won't see anything of my hand because the Sharpie is being held by the coat, and I'm actually doing the switch at that time so that I can hand you the Sharpie, at which point you sign the card, and I'm left with a block of glass and a deck of cards. Let's see it from the other side. Let's switch places. You stand on that side, I'll stand on this side, and we'll try it again. Now remember, at the start, I'm taking the block of glass and I'm placing it inside my coat pocket. It goes in my pocket just normally, straight up and down. Not this way, but like that. And remember, the pocket has no flap or anything. If there was a flap, I'd put it on the inside. It's just a big opening. The Sharpie goes inside my pocket, and it's hooked on the little tiny thing there. And I'm going to shake your hand. When I shake your hand, I'm measuring the distance. Now I'm going to ask you to select a card. I do a Classic Force to have you select a card. So if you do me a favor, touch a card. Excellent. Look at the card, and you'll be showing the audience which is there. When you do that, I'm holding the cards between my thumb and my index finger, and I'm going to grab right here and open up. As I do that, I grab for the marker. My hand is now holding the marker, so this hand can release. It's just going to drop straight into the pocket. It's going to come right back out, and I'm going to hand you the marker like that. It's that simple. I'm left with a block of glass, a deck of cards, you have a card to sign, and we're all set to go. To make it easy for you to understand what's going on, we have a clear pocket. A clever idea of Billy Schway. It's just a plastic bag, and inside I placed the Omni Deck. My hand is going to hold the deck of cards between my thumb and my index finger. That allows these extra 3 fingers to separate. They're going to separate to grab onto whatever I'm going to switch for. As I go into the pocket, my hand will drop, the fingers will separate, grabbing onto whatever it is. I'll turn it so you can see. The fingers are now grabbing here, the deck is here. I'm now going to release the deck. As I release the deck, one card will stick to my hand. I'll draw this card out, and that card will in fact be the cover card for the deck switch, leaving me with one card and a block of glass, and all set to do the Omni routine. For the final stages of the Ultimate Invisible deck, you've now done the deck switch, which leaves you with an indifferent card that you don't know, and the Omni Deck. Now the Omni Deck is interesting. For the UID, the Omni Deck, it has been made so it's slightly smaller on the back edge. This allows this little lift. It's the same size across this edge and this edge, but on the long edge, it's a little short here. Yeah, just right there. This allows for me to lift the card up, creating Vernon's Depth Deception illusion, most commonly known as the Tilt by Ed Marlowe, but actually belongs to Edward Victor in Magic of the Hands. Edward Victor, Magic of the Hands, it tilted from the front, and the card was placed in this direction, giving the illusion of it going into the middle of the deck. Di Vernon, a Canadian magician, saw this, the professor, and decided that it would look better from the back. Di Vernon decided this was much more convincing. Vernon showed several people, including Howard Schwartzman. Howard showed it to Edward Marlowe. Edward Marlowe published it as the Tilt with many extra variations, but the credit should go in that order, Vernon and Edward Victor. I'm just lifting this indifferent card up, just slightly, from the block, and I place a card in like so. This is the sign card. When it goes in, it gives the total illusion that it's going in the middle of the deck. Then I allow that card just to descend. It's only descending a tiny bit, so there's nothing to worry about. At that point, I can now reach down and do a double lift. My double lifts suck. If you don't believe me, read the comments on YouTube. But here, it's all right, because these two cards are the same size, and they're larger than the block. So when I turn them over, they'll turn over very easily as a double, perfectly. As they do that, there's just a block in my hand. So what do? I turn my hand sideways. If you watch the performance video with Hannah, you'll notice that at no time do you see this block. It's because I turn it sideways, which means the audience is seeing this, or the back of my hand, or this hand is in front showing these ones. In the tens of thousands of performances, I've had no one ever say, Shawn, you have a block of glass in your hand. I show it like this, everybody sees the card, and then I place them back together. Now I just push off the single card, which I place somewhere on my jacket, and then begin by placing this deck into the spectator's hands. How I place it in the spectator's hand is just as important as the rest of the routine. So let's take a look at that now. At this point, we have an indifferent card pretending to be the signed card, placed someplace else, like a lapel pocket. Here, we have an Omni Deck with their signed card. I now ask the spectator to bring their hand in, palm up. As they bring their hand in, I transfer the deck to a top grip and grab below to cradle their hand. As I do this, I'm going to place these down on the top. Now it will appear that he has control over the deck, but the fact of the matter is, I still have the deck. It's between my hands. Why do I do that? Because if I don't, and I let go, this card could travel, exposing the Omni Deck prematurely and ruining the climax to my trick. So I place my hand underneath, cradle, place these cards down, and then ask the spectator to place their hand on top. By doing that, I've effectively trapped them the moment I put this card on top. They think that this is their card, but it isn't. This is actually an indifferent card. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to look, saying, and this is your card, the 3 of diamonds. Nice signature. I now know it's the 9 of clubs. At this point, I get 3 moments of magic. The first moment of magic is a transposition, where I say their 3 of diamonds will go into the deck, and a different card, like the 9 of clubs, will come out. Just like this, the 9 of clubs is on top. Notice how I still have my hand on top of his hand. It's so he doesn't open his hand, because if he opens it, it ruins the rest of the tricks. At this point, I discard that card, and I say, now I'm going to remove one of the 51 cards that remain between your hands. Now this sounds very complicated, but the fact of the matter is, there's just one card and a block of glass. So I reach in between, I pull one card out, and I reveal it to be their card. Notice I still have my hand on top of his hand. This is so he won't open his hands. He really thinks the trick is over, but it's just beginning. At this point, if he were even to look, he would see that it looks like a deck of cards. In fact, the weight is there. It feels like a deck of cards because this is made of Lexan. It's a bulletproof plastic. It's very heavy, super saturated. I can now discard this card, and I say I'll make the rest of the cards disappear between your hands. At this point, the cards are gone, and he can take a look. When he lifts his hand, he'll see he has just a block of glass, the ultimate invisible deck, the Omni Deck. Well, that's it. That's everything you need to know. You understand how the Omni Deck works. You understand the handling that I've offered. Now you've understood how I do the deck switch, and you can put it all together. You have the complete package. Everything you need to go out and perform this, the most amazing thing I ever experienced as a youth. I remember the first time it happened to me. It wasn't Jerry. The first time was a magician by the name of Tony Yang. He did a block of glass in my hand, and I died. I just stood there with amazement in my face. And then I looked over at this older gentleman who was laughing and smiling at me, and I realized that my mentor, Jerry, had kept this effect from me for 2 years. And it was the first time I experienced it was in the hands of another magician. And it was at that point I said to Jerry, I need to know this too. And he was kind enough to share it with me. And now I'm sharing it with you. Pass on the legacy. Keep performing it. Make it a miracle. Keep well, keep busy, and most of all, be happy.